Hello, baby. Hello, nasty. Hello there. Hello. I say hello. Hello, friend. Well, hello, little girl. Hello, my treacherous friends. Hello, operator. The beginning of everything. Welcome back, my friends. It's showtime.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. The Brink of Sanity is 4 years old today.
Happy birthday to you.
Wait, so does that mean the Brink of Sanity is potty trained?
Yes. Well, most of us are. We had one guest who wasn't.
I look forward to that rebellious teenage stage.
So, yeah, we're 4 years old today. Congratulations to us for...
Congratulations. That's great, man.
Yeah. People
One listener per year. Nice.
I know.
So we are back.
Yeah, Marc
Jack.
and Dan Crall's back with us today as well.
Greetings from the great OR.
That's right. So we got a lot of stuff going on today. We're going to jump right into a top five. Figure change it up a little bit. We usually do that later in the show. And then we'll get on to our other shenanigans. Lots of shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
So today we're going to do the top five things that our women hate that we do.
Last week we did a top five things that drive us crazy that when we have to spend our day with our women doing these things. Mm-hmm. And my wife overheard that and thought women needed revenge on us. So we have to point out our flaws.
Yeah.
We should have our women on to actually count these down, although that could get into a big screaming, shouting match quickly, couldn't it?
Yeah, and my wife could care less about being on the show.
Well, sometimes, and I'm not, this isn't to indict anyone's woman or mine, but I mean, I just remember listening, when I used to listen to the Adam Carolla podcast, he had his wife and her friend on, and it was terrible. It's like, dude, please don't. I guess they have their own podcast, Adam's wife.
Everyone's got their own podcast now.
Yeah.
Besides, my wife's watching Bethany Ever After right now. It's a quality TV show, and she can't be pulled away.
Oh, lovely.
So, Dan, why don't you start? What drives your woman crazy that you do?
When I smoke weed in the garage and then track the smell in.
Like 2 minutes ago?
Well, usually what I'll do is I'll smoke in the garage, and then I head back in about 30 seconds later, and sometimes I might even still be coughing. And, sometimes if you especially smoke weed in the light and you look as you're blowing out, I mean, that weed stays in your lungs for quite some time. And I'll just come in and smell up the house without even realizing it. And, I hear about it just about every time. Can't you vent? She says.
Wait, you have kids, right? Or am I wrong?
I have a son, but
Dan?
Get this, as according to state law, I mean, I'm totally cool. I'm a medical marijuana patient, so I don't have to be afraid
I was
to you guys.
You could commit a lot of crimes. No one's going to catch you on the show. I was going to ask you, when your son was born, like, it sounds like you smoke regularly. How long did you wait after your son was born? Did you start smoking again? Did you have any I asked because I love smoking. I'm not a huge smoker, but since my son was born, I really just not smoked.
I'm sure I smoked the day he was born. I mean, I don't remember having taken a break for quite some time. It's just
so there was no pause there.
No, and I remember actually around the time, I kind of go through these very dark periods. They seem to hit very hard in the wintertime, which they hit a lot of people out in this area. Mm-hmm. We're very high in seasonal depression. I hate to use that as an excuse because I love the winter and I love the gloom and darkness, but I was going through a bout of depression, and it's like we had planned on having a home birth. So I was going through this bout of depression, and the thing is, we had planned on having a home birth, but my son was huge, and my wife is very petite, so we had to transfer to the hospital, and that was just not what I needed at that time. Plus, my mom, who's in town now, she was in town at the time, and saying stuff like, Danny, you need to get her to the hospital. What if she were to die? And I was just having a real dark time. And I remember being able to cut out to the car and smoke a little herb. It definitely helped. Plus, I was kind of coming home in between. And my son was born at 11 pounds, by the way. So that's no small birth.
That was our segment. Dan talks through his dark times. Tune in next week when he talks about his grandma's death.
Neither of my grandmas is dead yet, so you know.
11 pounds is freaking huge, by the way.
Yeah.
My son was born at 7 pounds and half an ounce. That's a normal size for a baby. You had you had two babies in one body.
Yeah, we didn't do any ultrasounds the whole time because we're that kind of people, and we were wondering if we had twins coming.
I have a question. Did your son from there, is he like a bigger kid or is he just like an average sized kid?
Oh no, he's a big kid. He's definitely bigger than a lot of kids his age, and he's very advanced. Not to brag on him, but he can count to at least 10 in both English and Spanish, and he just turned 2.
Nice.
I mean,
it would have been better if you said he just turned 12.
Yeah. No, this was yeah. You take it day by day, as you probably know, Mark. How old is your kid?
He's almost 8 months old. In a week he'll be 8 months old.
See, that's weird. I was just listening to an episode where you talked where your wife was supposed to give birth that night, and I was mixing up in my head was that last week or was that the show I just listened to?
It was during last week's episode. I was like, she's like, I gotta go to the hospital. I'm like, yeah, go. Yeah, that was a while ago. That episode.
So yeah, that's my number 5. Smoking weed, tracking in the smell.
So my number 5 is not as dark, but my number 5 is when we go out to eat. My wife gets really annoyed because the only things I ever want to eat out are sushi or Thai food, and it's always she's like, "How about Mexican?" I'm like, "Yeah, as long as it's sushi or Thai, it's cool." She's like, "I know this great place. It's Margiano's." Yeah, do they serve sushi there? Because I don't want to go if they don't serve sushi. And it drives her crazy that it's always in oh, let's order in. Oh, I know this great Thai place. We can. And then once in a while, I'm she's like, really, we gotta try something different. Oh, there's a Vietnamese place around the corner. Let's try that place. She's like, enough with the Asian.
Because the Vietnamese place has a few Thai dishes that you can order.
No, I'll venture to a different area, to a different kind of Asian food. That's my big expanding my food choices.
All right.
Yeah.
My number 5 is anytime I try to dress myself.
Okay.
Because I like to wear T-shirts with funny things on them. And
Ninja Turtles.
I do have a Ninja Turtle shirt. In fact, we were talking
many times.
We were talking offline about when I was on True Life, and I was wearing a Ninja Turtle shirt in that video. But I recently purchased a shirt that's all red, and it's just the eyes from the ghost from Pac-Man.
For those people that don't know, Jay was on MTV's True Life, I Want to Be a Man.
I want to be an adult.
True Life, I am a compulsive T-shirt wearer.
Number 4 is my
and try to connect it to a dark story.
Well, probably works for this one too because it's swearing, and I sometimes when I get really angry, I go into these swearing tirades that I don't even know where they came from. And the thing is, our son is too, and he repeats things. He says "fuck" and "damn it" a lot. Not around me. In fact, almost never around me. But just he'll be walking off when his mom is watching him, and more than once it's been around other kids too, and she's embarrassed. And I've had a pretty dirty mouth for quite some time, and I'm trying to cut it back. But it's my swearing. She doesn't like it.
What leads you to the swearing? Is it you don't like the answer on the Family Feud, or what makes you go crazy?
I've especially noticed since my son's been born, and just the fact that I am self-employed, and I'm very happy overall with my life, but my life is very stressful, and it seems every morning when I'm trying to get out the door, just run into various stress. And if I hit my head, I've noticed if I hit my head, just this fucking rage just hits me. Some people hit their head and they get silly. I get angry. Fucking I go, God damn it!
Dan, is your number 3? My wife doesn't like it when I cut myself. Just ask.
Do I come off as that type?
No, it's just your first 2 answers are pretty dark.
Do you hit your head often? Is that like, do you have a really low like piece of plywood by your front door, or?
No, I have to clean out chicken poop out of the chicken coop at least once a week, and I hit my head and my back on the nails in there.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know if you were doing a metaphor or you actually were really cleaning out.
No, I hit it on the garage door. Like if I don't open the garage door all the way, I've hit it on the garage door a few times, and just working with tools or whatever. I mean, just sometimes I get stressed out and swear, and sometimes it gets pretty dark.
You have an abnormally large head. Is that why it happens?
Maybe. I used to see this kid. It was the strangest thing. This kid, Paul Kuiper, back at Highland Christian School. I mean, he was like 3 years older than me, but he'd call me Melonhead. But this kid had a huge head. He looked like an inbred, for crying out loud, and he would call me Melonhead. That was always a very strange thing that I never understood.
It's like when someone that you really like. It's like that big fat kid is like calls you fat. You're like, oh, come on. Am I really? This guy's calling me fat?
Yeah.
There was this kid named Steve Ferry, and he would diss on me for my name, Crall. And he also called me Melonhead. And that was in 6th grade. So, I mean, I do have kind of a large head, but my body's grown into it. And if I can grow out a goatee, it really helps kind of slender the look of my face.
When in school, when they did class plays, were they like, okay, Dan's going to play Humpty, as we assume. Anyone else?
No, but I did play a character, Sunny Sunshine, in the 1st grade play. And I remember conking my sunshine head on the microphone. And that was like the laugh of the show. That was as I skipped my way along into singing the song. I had accidentally conked my head on a microphone, but given how much the crowd loved it, like I intentionally, when I turned my head to the left and walked, conked again the big sunshine head on the microphone. They had another laugh. It felt so good. I've always loved to make people laugh.
Mark.
My number 4, I guess, is I hate going shopping more than anything. And my wife cannot get me to go shopping for anything. She's like, you need this or this. She's obsessed with me needing stuff always. I need new pants. I need new like nicer looking shirts. And I refuse to always go shopping. And she's forced to like go to the store, buy the stuff. I try it on at home, and she's forced to go return the stuff because I'll never go to the store. So I drive her crazy by not going shopping.
Mm-hmm. Shopping sucks.
It does.
It really does.
I can't go for more than like 2 minutes before I'm pissed off and want to go home.
Yeah, we'll go to the store, and if I need new sneakers, I'll go there. I'll pick a pair of sneakers. We'll be in and out of the store in 15 minutes, and she's like, that wasn't so bad. I'm like, I cannot get those 14 minutes of my life back. One of those minutes was okay. Everything else was awful.
Well, on the flip side, though, do you guys enjoy garage sales or flea markets?
Not really.
No, I enjoy them more than store shopping, but
I don't mind farmers markets. I like those. I like shopping for food. That's not so bad.
Shopping for food is fun.
I like
especially
doing that
especially when I eat the food in a short period of time.
I like doing that when it's not too crowded. When I'm just like at a slow shuffle behind people who are just not moving, then I start getting cranky again.
Yeah, for sure.
I like shopping for food in places that have free samples. That's actually what I really love. That's one of my favorite things in life.
It's just
going
shopping,
free samples to free sample, eating every little small item they have. Like I'm at like some kind of hors d'oeuvre party that everyone's really annoyed at me for not buying things.
Right,
Don't you feel pressured then to buy the product?
No, I don't really have much shame.
I do. I always at least act like I'm going to, or I'll even say something so cheesy like, "How long are you going to be here?"
Oh, I do that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just go to the ATM. I'll be right back.
Yeah. I don't usually carry $1 on me, so I'll be back to buy. And like it's really like they have like you go to like the farmers markets and they'll have like different kinds of like jellies, say, and like little crackers to put them on there. I'll try all 10 of them. And then be like, I'll be back.
So by shopping, you mean getting free lunch?
That's what I really like to do, yes. That's exactly what I like to do. That's my favorite thing to do. If farmers markets don't have free samples, I don't like it as much.
Well, just another plug for Corvallis, Oregon. We have one of the top farmers markets in the country, and
I'm there.
I would love to have you guys out here. I would love, it's funny because I grew up in Northwest Indiana, and I still keep in touch with a lot of friends, and so many people have almost come out here.
How annoyed would Dan be if, like, next weekend we're just there? We're like, oh, we just took you seriously. I figured we could stay at your place.
Just show up with a pillow.
He's like, why? No, it's one of those things you just say. I can't believe you're here. You didn't even tell me you were coming.
No, the thing is, though, I'm serious. I mean, our farmers market hasn't started yet. It starts in mid-April, but once summer, well, I'll be pretty busy working the pedicab in the summer. But I'll tell you, anytime you guys want to come out here, I would be happy to coordinate some really interesting stuff for the show. Whether it's like twice a year or maybe even more, all of wine country. They just have this like. Statewide wine tasting where you just go from winery to winery and taste cheese and wine, and you don't pay a whole lot of money unless you buy.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it does sound pretty lovely.
What's a decent house go for in that area?
Well, it really depends. I mean, here in Corvallis, it's expensive. After our closing costs and everything was all said and done on our one-story, 1,300 square foot home, it was $193. But, we also have a decent-sized backyard where we have our chickens. And Corvallis, that's pretty typical for Corvallis. You're not going to find anything for under $140. But you go to towns like Albany and Lebanon, which are like the total, what I call the fat, ugly stepsister of Corvallis or what have you. Albany and Lebanon are fairly cheap to live in. But, the quality of life there, it reminds me a lot of the Midwest. And both towns have Walmarts.
Yeah, one of our co-hosts just bought a apartment that's smaller than your house for $600,000. So,
Holy hell!
New York is like crazy.
I know you guys have some pretty crazy stuff out there, and I don't understand. You got so many people packed there, and everyone's angry, and I hear it smells like piss. I'd love to visit, but I'm happy living out here. We have a little bit of space, but I could stand to live just a little farther out in the country, to be honest. I'd like to have more chickens, but I need to be close to town for the pedicab. And
well, if I won the lotto, I would just get like a pimp house in the middle of nowhere, just be alone. I'm sick of all these people. I actually,
so in other words, Jay, if you won the lotto, you'd be the Unabomber?
Yeah, pretty much. I have about 7 stories on my notes here about crazy people I ran into this week, so we can get to that later.
It's funny because, Jay, you don't actually have to win the lottery to move out in the middle of nowhere. You can just do it if you want.
Well, no, because then I'd be commuting like 3 hours a day to work, and I'd be even angrier.
That would suck too.
Yeah.
So for $250,000, could you get like a really nice house there?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Some of the more outlying areas of Corvallis, and by the way, if you're for those listening, if you're not into taking care of the environment and being a decent person, and you want to bring some kind of high-stress Jersey Shore bullshit lifestyle, don't even think about it. It rains too much here; you'd hate it.
But a lot of people just put away their the travel plans. They were online right now, being like, "Let's go to Corvallis." Oh, not us. Forget it.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a quiet town. I mean, we do have Oregon State University here, which a lot of people believe to be the backbone of the town. On some levels, you might be able to say that, but Corvallis is its own little community. There's some great things happening here. But yeah, 250,000 could get you a really. I mean, there's a town nearby. It's called Philomath. It's philosophy and math. The philosophy and math building of Oregon State University used to be there. So Philomath.
Oh wow. I was like, that's a weird name. Then I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's what the name's from.
Yeah, it looks like Philomath or Philomoth. No one ever pronounces it right the first time, but some of the more outlying areas of there, oh my gosh. I mean, you've got some farmland and the coastal range mountains. It's just beautiful, and you're still close enough to be able to go to Corvallis. I mean, everything you need is in Corvallis or Albany as far as shopping needs. Or, Salem's 45 minutes from here, and then Portland is 90 miles north of here. I'm glad I came out here. And, I came to work for the public radio station, and when they decided to move up to Portland, I mean, I had fallen in love with this town, and that's why I stayed. We had just bought a house, too. And
Jay, what's your number 4, Jay?
Hey, no.
My number 4...
Not to cut you off, Dad.
My number 4 is I am constantly reading X-Men comics, and it pisses her off.
Did you aren't they not graphic novels.
She calls them cartoon books too.
She's actually correct.
That gets under my skin. But she's like, doesn't it ever end? I'm like, no, it's the whole.
What do you like better, The Walking Dead or the X-Men comics?
I think probably The Walking Dead's probably better, but there's like not much of it. Like I'm all caught up on that.
By the way, did you watch the most recent Walking Dead?
Yeah, something actually happened. It's amazing.
Wait, not this past Sunday, the Sunday before.
Oh, the Sunday before, nothing happened.
Yeah, I was gonna. It was this past week. We're talking like no one's even listening. No one's. For a while, we were doing like TV show reviews, and I'm hearing myself.
Yeah, I'm hearing you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you listening? Does everyone have headphones on?
I don't have headphones, no.
We're probably hearing Mark through your speakers.
I see. There's a pair right here.
Okay, that's
Problem solved. Oh yeah, we were doing our TV review thing. We decided to not watch Alcatraz. And
I kind of gave up on all the shows.
yeah, we kind of just stopped, but nobody liked it, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, fuck, Jay, you're starting to break off.
No, I'm not.
Say it ain't so. Tell me when you have the headphones on.
I've got them on.
Okay.
Am I still echoing, or is Mark echoing?
Nope, everything's fine.
No, I can't hear myself now.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
So anyhow, Jay, you read a lot of cartoon books, right?
Yes, I do. And for some reason, it gets under his skin.
Dan, what's your 3?
Number 3 is when I get a song or a band stuck in my head for like a day or two, and then I keep playing it. Like I'll dial them up on YouTube or keep singing it or what have you.
What was your most recent song stuck in your head?
It's actually this. It's this band called the Meat Shits, and it's
I've had that.
I think any of us who eat meat, we always have meat shits. But this band is great. I don't know if you're familiar with the death metal band Anal Cunt.
I have actually heard of them.
I've met her.
Haven't we all met an anal cunt? Anyway, the Meat Shits are similar to this band. They're Anal Cunt's much more well known, but it's this album of theirs called Bowel Rot.
Does Anal Cunt do toddler music?
Some of their songs actually do sound kind of toddlerish. You should check them out sometime. Tons of their videos are on YouTube. Anal Cunt. They're known as
when
Ace.
I do a search for Anal Cunt, I get different videos.
Would you like to hear a clip of the Meat Shits? Because actually, the thing is, I wanted Jay. I know Jay edited the awesome theme song that this show has, and there's yet one more "Hello" out there that I think would be appropriate. Maybe this could be the birth of that, huh?
Possibly.
I'll play this. Okay, so the album starts off with a prank call and a hello, and then it goes into a bunch of very short songs broken up by like movie samples, movie dialogue samples. But this is what I've been playing lately, and this has really gotten on the wife's nerves. Here it comes.
The Meat Shits, everybody. I can hear nothing.
Yeah, I think you have to send it to Jay.
Yeah.
I'll send that over to Jay right now.
All right.
It would have been really. This one wasn't dark at all, but it would really. I mean, in a very sick way. If you had said, "Oh, I have a recording from that girl that's been throwing up. I've been playing that over and over again."
We actually did not record that show, unfortunately, so no, I don't.
While Jay tunes that up, my number 3.
This is it.
Oh, here we go.
Hello?
Hello. Who's this?
Yeah, I think if you were singing that over and over again.
No. If you were to, like that's what I think would be appropriate for your theme song. But if you skip ahead like 3 minutes into that video, if you just like click ahead 2-3 minutes into the video, it's listening to stuff like that gets on her nerves.
Yeah, and giving
You
your
bark
kids
in the house? Is that what you do?
nightmares.
I don't sing it. I just play it on the computer, and I try to get her into it. Like, isn't this great? And she just shakes her head. Really? You don't like? What do you guys think? Do you like it?
Not really.
Play it again. You guys will like it.
Right after the show ends, we'll listen to it nonstop.
I'll listen to the whole album.
And then we'll move into the middle of the woods and start mailing bombs.
Hey, don't mock the meat shits.
So going through our number 5, or my number 3, is going with never shopping. My wife gets frustrated that I own items way too long without replacing them. Like, and I actually enjoy celebrating the anniversaries of the items. Like, I have a pair of glasses I wear they're now 10 years old. And she's like, they look old. I'm like, yeah, but they're still good. I think they're going to last another 10 years.
Do you realize how much? I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I have a pair of sandals that minimum 5 years before replacing. And she just gets frustrated. I tend to keep things for a decade or so.
But that's a good thing. You got a reminder of that.
I don't think she cares about the environmental impact of that.
It's just a women thing. Like I do the same thing. Like I don't like throwing stuff out if you could still use it. I don't see the point in replacing it.
Do you guys wear your underwear until it turns into rags?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, yeah, I don't. My wife doesn't look closely enough at my underwear to see how many holes half of them have.
Yeah, I
pretty
was
much
recently raided and lost half of my wardrobe.
Jay, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is when I drink, and it's not because I drink. It's because when I drink, I snore like a bitch, and she's a very light sleeper.
I do that too.
Has absolutely nothing to do with the drinking.
Does she have earplugs?
Yeah, but they bother her. Like she can't sleep with those either.
See, when I wake up and I listen to The Brink of Sanity to fall back asleep, if I didn't have that, I couldn't go back to sleep without earplugs. It's a weird thing.
It's amazing how many people use the Brink of Sanity to go to sleep.
Yeah, we're the #1 show in putting people to sleep. That
As long as there's not too much screaming or yelling, it's actually very good to go to sleep to.
Putting people to sleep since 2008.
4-year anniversary of putting people to sleep. It's actually said you're not allowed to drive while listening to our show.
Yeah. Do not operate heavy machinery while listening to The Brink of Sanity.
Well, you do have a very soothing voice, Jay. Like I told you off air, I think you should consider voice work.
Well, thank you. And
I often touch myself to your voice, Jay.
Well, Mark, you've got I think you could be, like you mentioned, you've done stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
I can totally see that. You just talk very fast and you don't articulate the way Jay does. You got that New York fast talking. You drink a lot of coffee?
No, not really at all, actually.
You sniff a lot of cocaine?
No, not really at all, actually. But maybe I should start.
Drink a lot of soda?
No, actually.
Then why do you talk so fast?
I live in freaking New York. I don't know. Sorry, man.
yeah, people get bored within. You have about 2 seconds to make an impression on somebody in New York, so you got to talk fast.
I don't know. My mom talked fast, and I just talk fast. I don't know. I have probably some psychological disorder from why I talk fast.
Is your mom Italian and from Brooklyn, or one of the two?
Neither, actually, from the Bronx and Jewish, which is close enough to Brooklyn and Italian.
Yeah, it's similar around here. Okay, number 2, right? We're up to number 2.
Yeah, number 2, Dan.
Watching porno.
Yeah, if I wasn't so good at being sneaky about that would be my number 2.
Same here.
All right. We could probably move past that one just in case any of our women listen in, right? To our number 1.
Yeah. So I'll go number 2, wearing torn clothing. When she met me, I always had I had pairs of jeans with holes in places that I shouldn't have holes, like in the middle, like the crotch, where I would just keep wearing them.
Oh yeah, I've done that too.
And she just drives her crazy. I'll wear things till they actually fall apart, and she has to go to the store, buy something, and they force me to replace it.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to the boxers one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of what drives my wife crazy has to do with some realm of shopping and keeping things too long.
My number 2 is not knowing where anything is. And I think most people have this problem. They put everything away, so obviously they know where everything is. And I wasn't around for the putting away process, so I don't know where anything is.
Well, do you have like a set pocket, for instance, where you put your cell phone in a set pocket for keys, a set pocket for your wallet?
Oh, yeah, like I put my cell phone in a different pocket the other day, and I couldn't find it for like an hour. I was freaking out.
Yeah.
So yeah, something could be like 2 feet away from where it normally is, and I have no idea where it is.
Yep. Because I had that same problem. If you just have a set place, like, like putting your wallet at a certain place at night or your keys, it's the exact same place without fail, without compromise. It'll take care of that, my man. And as you get older, it's not going to get better to remember where you put shit.
You should write yourself notes like that guy in Memento.
It's not that I forget. It's kind of just like I never knew.
Yeah, I think I get that. You just don't know where anything is in the first place.
Right.
It's not like you're like hiding things from yourself accidentally.
Yeah, I'm not like walking around like I'm senile. Like, where's my pants? I just
You're not like, where's the couch? Jay, you're sitting on the couch.
yeah.
Oh God.
Think, how do I brush my teeth? How do I wipe my ass?
Yeah, that'll be a few years from now.
I'm looking forward to the seniority. I'm looking forward to being a senior living in an old age home. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, you can pretty much do whatever you want with no repercussions.
Yeah.
Do a little volunteering at those places, and you'll realize just how dreadful it really is.
I was more kidding. I don't want to be shitting myself every day.
Because I've talked to people who they look forward to being drugged up in an institution somewhere, and it's like, it's not all fun and games.
Yeah, there's a lot of idiots out there.
What's your number one?
I always leave her to change the boy's diaper.
Oh, that's pretty cruel.
Well, I just can't do it.
What is wrong with you, man?
Hey,
that's really messed up.
Here's the thing. I can't do it without gagging.
Oh, come on. Be a man.
Dude,
you can't change your son's diaper? Come on.
Well, I mean, I've done it a time or two, but like I do it with
time or two. I've done it like your son has been alive 3 times as long as my son. I've done it like thousands of times already. And he's crying right now. I'll be right back.
Thousands of times. I don't know if I'm ready for
this.
this.
Of course you're going to cut out. I can't defend myself. There is a legitimate excuse for. Well, and here's the thing. I've done it more than a time or two where I've changed it, but like I usually just breathe very shallow, or I'll put my face in my shirt, and I don't want to traumatize them. You know, kids get all kinds of shit trauma from the early years. Who am I to impose that on him? See, I can't defend myself against Mark. We'll have to. What do you say to that, Jay? You never had to change a poop diaper, have you?
I have not. I'm assuming I will be changing a lot. I do have a pretty low gag level, so we'll see how that goes.
Do you? Would you like to have a kid right now?
No, I would like to have a kid. I would not like to have a kid right now.
When do you think would be ideal?
Probably about 2 years. 2
years. Do you know the right woman?
Yes. I just don't have the right financial situation right now.
Yeah. There's no rush. Don't let anybody tell you to rush into it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who have like a timeline in their head and they're like, oh, I have to do this by then. Nope. It's like you just wait until you know.
You have to be ready, and then you have to know again and over again that you're ready. Don't let fools rush in, my friend. That's all I'll say.
Exactly.
That is wise words. Are we back on the show, or did you guys not stop at all?
We didn't stop for you.
We stopped the show for you, Mark.
Nice. My son's learned to like sit up on his own, and now I don't know if that's what keeps like. He's been waking up. He's been waking up tonight and like just sitting up in the crib, and we're like, go back to bed. It's great that you know how to sit up now. Go back to bed.
Yeah, we get it. You learned something new.
Oh my God, he's actually learning a lot of new things lately. He's getting crawling now. He can pull himself up on things. He's like, just like learned a ton of things in the last like couple days.
That's good.
Yeah. He also can change a diaper. He can actually.
Anyways, yeah, I was trying to address that before you walked away.
Yeah, I walked off on you.
So, I mean, the thing is, I have changed the diaper more than once. It's just that I do tend to gag, and I don't want to traumatize my boy. And I help out. I help out in many other ways. I'm the sole breadwinner. I'm the only one who really works.
When you say traumatize your boy, because you don't want your boy to see that you're a woman.
Well,
you can't change.
I don't know, man. If your girlfriend does listen, that's pretty much an insult to say it because I'm gaggy that I'm a woman. But we won't dwell on that. My son just doesn't need to see me gagging and think, oh, it's disgusting. Because a lot of times kids will feel like they're grossing their parents out, and
they are.
They won't shit. They won't shit for a week. I don't want that.
That sounds
but when
awesome.
when he was a baby, when he had no idea what was going on, like you still wouldn't change the poop then?
I mean, I was more apt to help. I'm definitely like, hey, why don't we do this together? Because it's just not my specialty. But guess what?
Let's do this together. I'll be in this room. You be in the other room with him.
You do it, and I'll watch from the doorway.
You do it, and I'll watch Sports Center.
Now, see, if I were one of those kinds of husbands, yeah, I would totally understand the ridicule, the judgment I'm receiving from you, Mark.
Just giving you shit. I'm just kidding around.
But I definitely just have a real hard time with changing the diaper, and I've actually thrown up. So
really? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I've thrown up doing it.
That's a lot more work for your wife to clean up.
Yeah.
That's why I could never be a caretaker for like old people because, dude, they take a shit in their diaper. That's like a lifetime of black, tarry, bad decisions that you have to clean up.
Oh, I would just quit the job that day.
Yeah. And most of those jobs only pay like $9 an hour.
Yep.
It's sad because I'd like to help development.
So my number one was what we call thudding in the bed. I toss and turn a lot.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I do that a lot too, and that really bothers her. Yeah. Very restless sleeper. Again, she's a very light sleeper, and I toss around constantly.
Do you guys talk during your sleep?
No, surprisingly. I do everything else, every other annoying habit you can imagine I do, but I don't talk. You're a sleep talker?
I am. Yep, I say some pretty tripped out stuff according to her.
Interesting. Is Mark still there?
Mark? Look, Mark's thing is showing that it's like refreshing.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so
I probably lost him.
He'll probably be back in a minute. He'll be back with his Kanye West vocals.
Yeah, Mark's on like dial up. I don't know what kind of connection he's got. Definitely got the discount plan though.
Someone in New York City's on dial up?
Yeah, apparently he can't seem to handle phone calls.
I don't know. I don't know. Whatever Time Warner's just screwing me today. I don't know.
Oh, he's back. All right.
I'm back.
I'm the one in Oregon. I should be the one on dial up.
Yeah. I don't know why, but it's not working today. Yeah. Anyhow, so I toss and turn a lot in the bed, wake my wife up all the time, and she's good enough actually not to make a big deal about it, even though she really could.
Yeah. My number one is this show.
She doesn't like the show?
She just doesn't like that I'm constantly podcasting because we do 2 shows, and so now it's turned into like 3 days a week and hours a day. And
yeah, she's got a good point.
Like,
I don't know, man. You need a woman to support you that when you're doing what you love. A woman should be there.
I mean, she hasn't said like I don't want you doing it. She just doesn't like it.
Well, like when you say things like, "There's a guy in Oregon who found us and really likes the show," and does that kind of thing make her smile, or does she just not care?
Yeah, no, she thinks that's cool. Like, when I told her we got like a gajillion downloads for the Nick show today, she was happy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So she's not a total bitch about it.
No. That was more like a joke, number one. And that's our top 5, right?
Wait, yeah, I think we all won. Yeah, that's our top 5.
Yep.
All right. Good stuff.
Right on.
So we found that Dan here is left of liberals, and we're going to talk about some politics today, right?
Yeah, bring it on. Well,
Jay,
actually, let me fill my beer up because I think this is going to require a beer or two. Having to deal with you.
Yeah.
I'm just getting geared up. I'm totally kidding.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a little political debate here. We do this once every 50 episodes or so. And so far, I think it's gone all right. I think
We're probably doing it too much.
I think we're gonna get crazy conservative.
I remember hearing it on one episode, and I thought it was pretty cool. So I'm.
Jay, you want to moderate?
Yes, I will moderate.
And Dan, you can bring up political topics also, because I have nothing in mind to talk about.
I'll try. I honestly have not been. I've not been watching the Daily Show lately. Hence, I've not been following the news. But I'll tell you what a lineup of clowns the Republican candidates are.
You could say that any 4 years for either party, really.
But especially now, now more than ever. I've been a cynical adult voter since I was 18 years old. I'm now 31. Always voted for the lesser of two evils. And holy shit, if I were a Republican now, I can't imagine what I would do.
To be fair, we have an extremely successful businessman in Mitt Romney. You have a true conservative, Rick Santorum. And on the Democrat side, you have a failed president.
Well, I'm not going to defend Obama. I mean, he has failed in a lot of ways.
There you go. You can't even attack my side when you have a failed president on your side.
Well, I don't know if I would say that quite, because you see that Mitt Romney's a successful businessman. I don't know if I would measure success by putting thousands of people out of work just to make a few investors rich.
He created Staples.
He hates America.
I don't think he hates America. I don't think he ever said that. I don't think he should take personal attacks at people.
No, because the working backbone of this country is what America once was about.
No, it's America's always been about the elite people keeping everyone afloat. And it's still that. The elite people, keep us afloat, and thank God the rich people are here, because they're the better people and they keep society going.
Job creators, right? So if you guys are such job creators, why is the economy in the shitter?
Because there are a lot of lazy people out there. It's become more lazier over time.
All right. A lot of people won't work for the wages of $6 an hour.
Yeah, I mean, they're lucky it's that high. We can find people in China that can work for a lot less, and they're better workers. I mean, the thing is, we can only create so many jobs for all you losers.
And that brings up the point that maybe the planet's just a little too overpopulated, and you guys are like the party of non-birth control. I mean, whether it's through religion or rhetoric that you use to control people, what do you guys have against condoms and spermicide, damn you?
Listen, it's not our fault you can't control yourselves. We know how to, use condoms with our mistresses.
Hey, control yourselves. Or you just get a vasectomy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What about the new bill that they have forced vaginal probes for people who want abortions? Instead of just doing the ultrasound now, the proposed bill would have forced probes, even though it's not necessary, basically to show the fetus to the candidate.
So the women that want to kill the babies are worried that someone's going to make them see their baby. The whole idea is just to do an ultrasound. So they're worried about the ultrasound. Why? They're going to have someone go inside them and rip a baby out of them.
Well, hey, maybe I'm just one of those people who doesn't like ultrasounds, but we never found one to be necessary. Maybe the woman doesn't want an ultrasound. We never got one, and we never needed one. Was that crickets in the background? Thanks.
Yeah. Jay, go ask another political question.
Okay. Mitt Romney recently said he's not concerned about the very poor.
That was taken out of context. He said, I'm not concerned about the very poor. They have a good safety net. And then he went on to say something else. It was just kind of taken out of context, really.
Yeah, things are pretty good in America for the people poor. The people that are poor, they have iPods.
And they can listen to this show.
Exactly. So.
Well, I mean, it's very obvious. It's what. That was an interesting sound. It's really no surprise that someone like Mitt Romney's not concerned about the very poor, because, I mean, he has no concept of what that's like. I mean, he's tried to say things like, "I know it's like to."
Did you just say he was taken out of context? Then you acted like he meant it.
Well, he was taken out of context, yet at the same time, I mean, duh, it's obvious. Of course he doesn't care about the very poor. But yes, that comment was taken out of context. However, his actions speak louder than that miscontextualized clip. Yeah.
So anyhow, Obama actually probably hates the poor because he creates the least jobs for the poor. He makes the economy terrible for them.
Well, if you look at the numbers, you'd see that there have been a number of jobs created under Obama while we were losing, what was it? I don't even remember the numbers, but a staggeringly high amount under Bush, especially in his last years. So,
I mean,
that's great how most Americans think that our taxes are higher under Obama when in fact they've been lowered. So as long as
more people are on food stamps under Obama than any other era. He's the food stamp president.
Well, again, I guess I've not seen the numbers on that. I know that I'm on food stamps right now, and you know what? I've paid into the program. It's nice to eat healthy for once.
I mean, the thing is, it's just that there's a better class of people in society, and the job creators can't do everything. And we need other people to step up. We need to widen the tax base.
Sure.
You're not good at this.
Alabama is a...
I wish you were really a right-winger because, I mean, God, Okay, all right.
You got to take it seriously if you're going to debate. Dan wants to debate a real right-winger. And he can't.
Jay, don't you guys have any right-wing friends there in New York?
I'm just debate me. Let's do a different time. Let's choose healthcare. Let's talk about healthcare.
Okay.
In my opinion, the people that can afford healthcare are the ones that are most deserving.
Well, if that model actually worked, I guess that statement would have credence. But as a conservative, what religious ideals do you subscribe to?
Those that can afford health care are the ones that are most deserving.
Oh, okay. So you're not a Christian like most people who call themselves conservatives?
I believe Jesus said that the job creators will rule the earth.
Oh, okay. Well, again, get me a real right winger because I've actually had this very discussion with people who call themselves hardcore Christians. Like, I ain't paying for no one else's health care. And the idea is, what the hell? Is that what Christ would have said? But
yeah, I think Christ would have spoken about healthcare issues. He would have spoken about American politics. I love when people say like what the founding fathers would have said. They would have said, "Shit, geez, I'm alive now."
Well, I do think that Jesus healed the sick, or that's what they say anyway. So I mean, he may not have spoken about healthcare in America, but
so if you're so concerned, bring Jesus back. He'll cure the sick. It's Jesus' fault for going away.
Free miracles for the rich.
Yeah. It's just simple. It's a simple policy. We give health care to those that can afford it and are most deserving, and then eventually we're only left with those people in society because the rest of them die off.
I guess I can't terribly disagree on that. At the same time, if you have a sick workforce, you're not going to get rich, sir.
But we can always find a workforce in a different country.
Yeah, I guess you could. But then again, you have a nation full of people belly aching. What? This is made in China? And then...
Yeah, but they still buy it. Everyone complains about Walmart, but then the biggest complaint is that they keep buying everything at Walmart.
Yeah, but back in the day when you had customer loyalty, that probably increased profits. And nowadays with a higher population, you could increase profits by drawing that connection because people are yearning for something like that now.
To be fair, Walmart, he's dead, Sam Walton, but his 4 children are the 4 of the 10 richest people in the world. So, or rich people in America. So I guess actually just cutting costs, selling things for cheap actually is the best way to make money.
Well, on a wide scale, I suppose so. But, you're talking quantity, not quality.
So the best thing to do is we have all these people that can't really afford to live anyhow. If we just reinstitute slavery, everyone will have a home, and they'll have a job, and we'll have low prices.
We've already got slavery. Just look around you.
So we're both agreed that slavery is a good thing.
My brain's just not up to it.
Okay.
All right. I think conservatives 3-0 in our debate so far.
Dominate.
All right, yeah. I've lost my edge since I haven't worked in radio in 3 years. My brain's just
What did you used to do? What did you used to do for? You work for NPR, right?
OPB, which was our statewide public broadcasting service.
Oh, okay.
And we ran NPR news and NPR shows. Yeah.
So what did you do?
I was an announcer and producer.
What did you announce?
Mostly breaks between the shows and weather reports, top of the hour IDs, which was always growing because we just had stations all over the state. Was it KOPB? Well, I don't know if I can actually say it, their frequency, but we had one in Portland, Bend, LeGrand, Pendleton, Corvallis, Eugene. I also produced a lot of content for the station during the begathons, the pledge drives. And I had a really cool project where I traveled the state for quite some time, recording people and places in Oregon. And they were little radio spots where you'd hear sounds and people talking about where they live. And they'd say, I'm Jim and I listen to OPB in Pendleton on 91.9 FM or whatever. That was pretty cool. But, it just decayed. Especially when they decided to move. But where a door is closed, a new opportunity arises.
Well, any good stories from back then?
You consider it was public radio, so I don't know how good of stories there really are to tell.
If there were good stories, you wouldn't need pledge drives.
Yeah, I usually just worked alone in a very stale environment. It was a very old building with asbestos, and I was alone on weekends, and I would just announce during the shows. And it got to be very boring because I didn't really enjoy the shows all that much, especially towards the end. In the beginning, I found public radio to be very intriguing. But they had some weird stuff. They didn't want us to be – they considered me a public figure, so I wasn't allowed to protest publicly. I was very nervous about my stand-up comedy which actually has been gone viral. I actually got some fan mail this week. It was from an anti-fan. He hated me. But that kind of stuff made me really nervous because I thought, well, what if they find out and then ask me not to do it? Because my name, people knew who I was.
What do you when you do stand up? What do you talk about? What's your do you have do you talk about your life, or is there things you talk about in particular?
Politics sometimes. I talk a lot of cynical, dry observations. I could actually send Jay an MP3 of my latest act. I don't know if you guys are still running the breaks, but that might work.
You want to do it? Do you want to do a joke? Is it terrible to ask you to do a joke for us?
Well, on the political front. So I hit myself in the dick with a chain the other day. Finally, the name Dick Cheney made sense. You know what's worse than the idea of having sex with Dick Cheney? Nothing.
It's awful because because of Viagra, it's made women now have to actually someone will actually have to have sex with Dick Cheney. Before you can just women can always count on the fact that he could not actually have sex with them. Viagra's ruined so many old women's lives. It's really the worst thing that's happened to all old women.
Yeah, but you consider in places like Florida where it's like a big sex orgy down in Florida, from what I understand.
Or I guess even worse is the women that try to marry old people for their money. Anna Nicole Smith was marrying that old guy, and because of Viagra, he probably was okay, let's have sex, and she's oh fuck, I have to kill him.
Yeah, that's just an obvious thing when some hot young number marries a rich old guy for his money. But on that note, with TV, were we going to talk about TV appearances that all three of us have had?
We sure can.
Sure can.
Yeah, because, it seems
so Dan played Jack Bauer on 24. Tell us about it.
No, nothing like that. I've had a few cool roles as a extra in a movie, but as far as TV, like TV shows, I was on Jerry Springer.
What? Yeah, tell us about the Jerry Springer thing.
When I was 18, I was. It was just my friend and I went up to Chicago, and we were in the audience, and I made a comment that made it to air. A lot of people made comments that they edited out, but this guy was dating some freaky midget, or at least that was the premise of the show. And I told him to get himself a real girlfriend and leave the gnomes alone. And
nice.
It made it to TV. And a lot of people called me up. Oh my God, I saw you on Springer. And I was also on Judge Mathis as an extra, a paid extra at the minimum wage, which at the time was like $5.95 an hour. Drive up to Chicago and sit in the Judge Mathis audience. And
I was actually on Judge Mathis.
Yeah. What about that?
I was my first year of law school. There were three of us living in the same apartment, and one of our roommates, we just didn't get along, and he ended up being like this weird guy who like lied to people and had like mental issues. And at some point, he decided he moved out. And he wouldn't pay us the rent, so we sued him in small claims court to get the money. And they called us up and had us go on the show. At first we thought it was just him trying to play some elaborate prank on us because we didn't really believe the idea that we'd actually be on the show. But ended up going on the show, and like we sued for basically the rent he hadn't paid. He countersued for $4,000 for. I'm trying to remember if I can remember all of them. It was intentional infliction of emotional distress, defamation, constructive eviction, and false imprisonment.
I can imagine. I can imagine the judge's reaction.
He threw out every term we had learned in like law school in our first semester.
Oh, he's one of those douches, huh?
Oh my God, his part of his case was so absurd it didn't even make it on the air because the judge was like, okay, whatever. It was just so stupid. At one point, he actually said, which I wish would have been on the show, was that all you've shown for defamation is they may have called you an asshole, and I'm not sure they're wrong.
Nice.
But that clever line to make on the show. But the best thing is, he had moved out. Why are you playing the show again? He had moved out, and we should have won the case easily because he wasn't living there anymore. Well, sorry, he was still in the lease, and he still had a room there. The case goes on. We're babbling back and forth. No idea actually how to argue a real legal case. And at one point, he just volunteers that he has the keys to the apartment and shouldn't have to give his keys back because he has a room there. And the judge is like, "Okay, case closed," and just left. And that was the end of the case. And they came back and gave us the money.
Wow.
Oh, it was just.
And you guys were flown to Chicago to do this?
We were flown to Chicago. We were each paid, I think, $180 to be on the show. And they gave us a hotel and gave us, like, a small stipend for, like, eating and stuff while we were there. And then the show guaranteed payment after 90 days, which is really the best part of being on the show because if you win in small claims court, then you have to collect. The person you have to force the person to actually pay you. This show, I imagine the show just paid us. I never found out if the show or him paid us, but I imagine it was just the show.
It was probably the show, yeah.
Yeah, and it's basically what you're actually, instead of court, it's what they call arbitration, where basically you're agreeing that whatever the ruling is, you're going to stand by.
Yeah.
And the show just pays you 90 days later, and they send us a check, and we got our rent, and we were happy.
I should have done that when my roommate moved out and didn't tell anybody.
Well, they randomly pick them, basically, like a random lottery. So, like, you get lucky, go on one of the shows. It's worth being on a show just to get paid.
Well, no, I mean, we didn't even have a lawsuit going, which we should have.
We knew another like, some reason, like, all the roommates had issues first year of law school. We knew another roommate pairing where the person moved out also. They sued, and the judge said they didn't have a right to get the rent from her. And they had to appeal. It basically took, like, I think almost a year or 9 months, basically, before they actually, like, ended up winning. Like, wow. The first judge just got the case wrong, and they had to appeal, and they won, and really annoying as hell. And I was like, thank God we were on Judge Mathis.
Yeah, I had a roommate who just decided he would move out and not tell us. And then we finally tracked him down, and he said he told the landlord. So we asked the landlord, and he said he didn't tell him. So he left all his stuff, which was weird. He was so willing to just leave. He left all his possessions.
What kind of possessions?
Just smelly clothes and some DVDs. I cherry picked the good ones, and
When you say good ones, you mean the clothes?
yeah. And
Did you put his underwear over your head?
most of his DVDs were porn DVDs, and
You took all of those.
yeah. Well, and I left a couple on top in case his girlfriend came to pick up his stuff.
Did you take his lube too?
My roommates at the time were like, just let him move out. I don't want any trouble. I'm like, so you're just going to let him like walk away owing us thousands of dollars and then ask me to chip in like a quarter of that for him.
Just steal his box of Kleenex.
No, I did not steal his Kleenex.
I don't know why that's so funny to me, but it really... Maybe the alcohol is just kicking in, but god damn.
He did have a waterbed, and
Oh god.
kind of. I may have used the waterbed before he came back.
We luckily never had any lawsuits with our college roommates, but both were just bad experiences, and we decided fuck roommates.
Yep, my roommate freshman year got arrested, so that was fun.
I had a roommate in the dorm. Luckily, he quit school pretty early, but he was a meth head, and once he quit, it was great. I had the room to myself, and that's how I met my now wife. She was just staying with me for like the whole year.
Nice.
Oh.
It was great. I lucked out, but it was freaky for those first 3 months. I mean, he was a troublemaker. I mean, I remember he went onto the third floor of the dorm, which was kind of like the student lounge, and he sprayed this damn fire extinguisher all over the place. And then he was, he didn't want to be found out, so he was telling me that he had done it, but he's like, don't tell anybody you know. And then I was getting called into the office of the university. Do you know anything about this? And I'm like, no, I don't. Having to lie for this fuck because he got drunk and sprayed a fire extinguisher on the third floor.
Wow.
But when he quit, oh my God, that was great. I was the only person on that entire floor that had the room to myself. And there was a guy that lived 3 doors down from me. The guest host you have on the show, the Doc.
Yeah.
They sound identical. And I used to have a college radio show, and this guy Josh would come down, and he would just like the Doc, same kind of contributions, just very, very vanilla, very polite, very middle of the road and non-offensive. Mm-hmm. But I loved him. That's why I have a soft spot for the Doc. Reminds me of Josh.
I got a question for you guys. Can you cut somebody off on a sidewalk? Because I got accused of doing that the other day.
With you both being on foot?
Yes.
Yeah, you kind of can.
Sure. But if they're moving slow, it shouldn't, if your pace is consistent, no. Then no.
I don't think anyone should make a big deal about it.
Well, it's not only was she walking slow, she was walking slow and not in a straight line. So, she was kind of like veering to the right. And so I had to make my move or she would have cut me off. So, I was in a hurry and I passed her and she's like, that guy just cut me off. And I'm like, walk in a straight line or at a normal speed. And this could have been completely avoided.
What did you actually say? What was your real response?
The train was down and I had to walk 35 blocks to school in about 10 minutes. So I did not have the time to confront this spoiled bitch who thinks she owns the sidewalk.
See, and that's the thing. It's like when that happens, I don't know if you guys are like me, but you'll just say all the possibilities out loud, and anybody watching you thinks you're a crazy person. Like, yeah, you spoiled cunt. You shouldn't have been in my way. And you just go through all the different possibilities. Sometimes when I make a really good comeback, I'll say it to myself like 5 times afterwards. It's usually on the pedicab. Someone says something stupid to me. I have a great comeback. And do you guys do that too? Like repeat the great comeback to yourself?
Like the jerk store?
Yes, like the jerk. Do you have a jerk store moment? But then, like you'd say the jerk store comment to yourself for the next couple minutes.
I do, not out loud, but I do, in my inside voice.
Do you guys have a lot of?
I hunt the person down for like 6 months to find them to tell them.
Do you guys have a lot of conflictual interactions on a daily basis there in New York City?
No, not really.
No,
I mean, there's not just assholes everywhere.
yeah, no. Mark's lying. It's very hard to get to work without something like that happening.
I pretty much don't. Not really.
I don't know how you
I bet-
can't.
I studied abroad I studied abroad in college in Australia, and I remember this Australian I met there. He's like, "You're from New York," and he was like, "So you own a gun there, right?" I was like, "No, I don't own a gun there." He's like, "But your family owns a gun." No, and his picture of New York City was everyone walked around with guns shooting each other.
Yeah,
Have you guys?
like
There's a lot of violence there, isn't there?
it's overrated.
Yeah, it's not really a dangerous place to walk around.
I mean, I think in the 80s it was really, really bad, but that was the 80s.
Yeah, I think now it's pretty safe. I mean, like, there's not that much crime.
Yeah, that's when the Reagan administration turned all the mentally ill people loose on the streets.
Yeah. Although I ran into a bum the other day. He was on the subway and he was going to ask for change. And this guy on the subway had a backpack and he was trying to get around him. And he's just like, fucking backpack, I'll shove that backpack up your ass. And then, like, he finally got past him and then he's like, everybody, I'm homeless. And he's like trying to put on his like sweet voice after he threatened to like murder this guy with the backpack.
Jeez.
I found that pretty funny.
I can't believe the Knicks are going to lose tonight. I cannot believe they're going to lose to the Nets. This is
Yeah, I know.
unbelievable.
I recorded it for later, but now I'm not going to watch it.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you were recording. I'm watching it as we're talking.
Well, no, not for that reason. For the reason that I don't want to watch them lose to one of the worst teams in the league.
This is awful.
Yeah. Oh, also, I was walking home from work the other day, and this lady was walking down the stairs to the subway on her cell phone, and she's looking into the phone. I don't know what's texting or whatever, and she falls halfway down the stairs, doesn't look away from her phone, and she's saying "ow," and me and this other guy pick her up, and she never looks away from her phone. I almost wanted to grab the phone to see what was in it because it was obviously something very interesting.
How old was this person?
She looked like she was in her 30s.
Was she like attractive? Did she look like she had it going on, or was she just some wad?
I would say average. I mean, her face was in the phone, so I didn't even get a good look.
Maybe she was in the process of being sexted.
She must have been because she was not looking away from that.
Yeah,
very
that's hard to
strange.
that's hard to know. I don't know.
You'd think you'd mumble out a thank you or something. Like strange people are like picking you up, and you're saying "ow," but apparently the phone was more interesting.
It's crazy what this upcoming generation seems to be. The relation they have to gadgets. I mean, I just graduated school like 7 years ago, and it was not like this when I was in school. And I work on the college campus here pretty regularly with my bike taxi, and it's just unbelievable that well over half the people I encounter are zoned out.
Yeah, I was at a brunch on Sunday, and I went to take a piss, and I came back, and there was 4 other people in the group, and all 4 of them are just sitting at the table in silence, all on their phones.
It's really annoying. I mean, it's really making us less interesting as a people.
As I'm saying this, I'm playing Angry Birds while we're doing the show.
Oh, Christ. Have you guys ever played Toss the Turtle?
I have not.
I've not, actually.
Oh, look it up. It's so much fun. You just bomb this turtle.
Oh, it's a video game? I thought we were actually throwing turtles.
Yeah, it's a computer game.
I thought in Oregon you really just throw a turtle around.
That's what I think of Oregon. I think everyone just throws turtles.
We don't have phones yet, so we just throw turtles.
We have guns here. You guys just throw turtles.
Oregon's changed a lot over the years. I mean,
That was the 80s, man. In the 80s, we all threw around turtles.
now it's just
that was
texting
all President Reagan and his turtle policy.
He let loose all the turtles on the city.
God, man. The turtles.
Reaganomics and turtles. Unbelievable.
My cat's name is Turtle.
Oh, well, your cat's probably going to be mentally ill now.
I thought it'd be funny to see how long I could let the silence go on. I was messing with you.
I'm having fun with it. I can totally see where you guys are coming from.
Mark, you had a story from last week.
I did, but not to be the guy whose computer's going to die soon.
Did you forget your plug again?
I didn't even bother. I'm watching the Knick game. I can't plug it in from where I am sitting right now.
Is your wife asleep and going to bitch at you if you go get the plug?
Yeah, I can't wake her. She has to work tomorrow, and so do I.
Dude, I insist. We have to have that segment on the show. Mark wakes his wife.
We will just have to have you on another time. I'm gonna bail actually because I gotta get some sleep also. It's 3 hours early for you, man.
The party's just beginning. It's 7:03.
I know, but I gotta get up for work.
Jay, are you able to tell your story, or like because Mark's bailing, does the show have to end? Or
no, you guys keep going without me.
I will tell you my story and then we will end because I also have to get up early, but I will tell my story.
we need to have like a day-long show where you guys call me at like, in the afternoon your time. You guys are drinking, I'm drinking. We'll have people from all over the country. That could be a fucking brink of sanity marathon, epic beyond words.
You arrange that, we're in.
Dude, I will. If you guys give me some names and numbers, I will make that happen. I'm not just saying that because I'm buzzed. I will.
Okay, telephone book everywhere in the world. You go.
How many Skype connections can you have at once?
Well, I'm assuming the audio quality would get bad after about 3, but
Okay.
we'd have to like stagger that in. But
We'll hold a rally. You organize a rally. You get 100,000 people there in Oregon. We'll come.
Well, we've got enough people listening, 70 people or so listening right now, right? To where maybe people on Skype who have hostability. I don't know. It's Jay's show. I'm not going to totally, come up with any of this odd shit. But I honestly think that a Brink of Sanity marathon could really maybe like a fundraiser.
Change the world.
well, I mean,
Change the world. It'd save the children.
it would be a good fundraiser thing.
Yeah,
a lot of
I'd
shows actually
pitch in-
do that.
I'll pitch in $50, dude.
A lot of shows do, like what, however much money an hour, and then you stay on the air, and then they're delirious by hour 18, and they're begging people not to give them money. Those are the kind of problems I want to have with this podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not gonna have that problem.
No, we'll do 1 hour, nobody will donate, and then we'll be off there.
They did that on
Yeah,
Full
actually,
House.
your marathon show would be shorter than this.
Didn't they do that on Full House once?
I'm not sure.
They had like a marathon where Jesse and then Joey, Dave Coulier's character, sang Janie's Got a Gun by Aerosmith.
Do you know Dave Coulier's character? Or sorry, not character, but him. He's the guy Alanis Morissette singing about, and You Ought to Know.
That's just an urban myth.
Is it not? It's not really?
I've heard that was the charge, but it's not actually true.
Oh, then there's nothing interesting about him at all.
What, you don't like his Bullwinkle impersonation?
Weird. I guess you think he just lives off. I mean, he probably is super rich off of the Full House money.
Yeah, it's just crazy. He was supposed to be the funny one, and he was the least funny one.
Well, he also, worked on America's Funniest People, which was on for a season or two. I mean, if he's managed his money right, yeah, he could live off,
And
It's
to
all
be
about
fair-
managing your money because a lot of people go, I mean, Michael Jackson was bankrupt, for fuck's sake. It's all about managing your money right.
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder how Dave Coulier manages his money. You should have him on the show and like, Dave, how do you manage your money?
Probably could get him at this point.
Hell yeah. He's probably desperate for anything. I mean, I don't know if you could pay him anything to be on the show, but fuck, he doesn't deserve, won't demand that.
All right, Super Bowl story real quick. Mark, I guess you're just going to do the show till your computer dies, or you're just leaving?
let me see where I'm at.
You're so depressed because the Knicks lost.
I can't believe they freaking lose today. This is ridiculous.
You actually get depressed over a team losing a game?
Not
I mean,
really.
Did you have money riding on the game? Or
I made a deal with the devil. No, the devil's gonna win.
cripes?
No, I don't. But I do actually have to go. I'm gonna go. Jay's gonna tell a Super Bowl story after I'm off, and you guys can finish without me. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool.
Cool.
Okay. Later, guys.
All right, later, man. All right, so that was the first 90% of the show. And now for the final 10% of the show. Actually, I'm going to play our show promo real quick. Just hold on a second there. And we'll be right back.
This is the Truth or Truth podcast with Brandon, John, that's me, and whomever we feel like having guest on the show. Feel free to check us out at www.truthertruth.com. Follow us on Twitter at truthertruthcom. Find us on Facebook and find us on iTunes. Here's a little bit of one of our recent episodes.
I remember when I was in junior high, and I finally understood a song, and I giggled every time I heard it on the radio. Come together right now over me.
What's that about?
I'm pretty sure it has to do with ejaculations.
Do you know what that is?
An ejaculation, actually, if you look it up in the dictionary, is a very quick prayer.
Right.
So
To the Lord Jesus.
to the Lord Jesus.
So it is perfectly normal for a priest to tell children to go home and practice your ejaculations.
It's
Okay.
perfectly normal for a priest to ejaculate in front of a lot of children.
You're using very correct English right now, John. Like, let's say, I don't want to bring up a sore subject for you, but on the subject of where your brother is stationed, if there was a priest praying in Djibouti, he could ejaculate in Djibouti.
He could.
Right? So there are priests right now ejaculating all over Djibouti. They are spread out from the east and the west and the corners of Djibouti, ejaculating all over that.
They're not. I think they're pretty much in the middle of Djibouti.
In the middle
I think
of
the
Djibouti.
ejaculations are pretty much centered.
Right where the action is.
I think there might be some ejaculations running through Djibouti as part of a movement. I think there's a movement.
All right, so we're back. Last part of the show. You all right there? What's going on?
I'm all right. It sounds like you're breaking off a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, let me know if that keeps up.
Yeah, you're okay.
Okay. So I was at a Super Bowl party. What was it? 2 weeks ago? That was a Super Bowl.
Something like that.
Yeah. Just want to know what you would do in this situation. We, everything's going fine. We had some Pats fans, some Giants fans, some trash talking going back and forth. But apparently one of the people does not like one of the other guys at the party. And so even though it's normal trash talking going back and forth, he's taking everything this one guy says personally and is just stewing and getting angrier and angrier. And nobody realizes this during the party. At the end of the game, there's like 2 minutes left, and he's a Pats fan, and the Pats are marching down the field. Should be a happy time. He like smashes the Doc's cabinet, and for like no reason whatsoever. And everyone turns and looks at him like he's an asshole. And
Smashes the Doc's cabinet. What did he do with his fist?
like it was open, and he slammed it shut like really hard. And this is like a new apartment he just bought, and if he breaks it, the guy's gonna have to replace it with his own money. And anyway, it's just a dick move to do.
Sure.
So the guy who he doesn't like, said, "Don't be a fucking idiot." And you just see the lights go out, and he's just like, "You're insulting me and personally attacking me, and fuck you, and how can you say that to me?" And he goes over and he smacks the guy in the face.
A hard smack or like a bitch smack? What?
It was more like a bitch smack. It was enough where I would not have thought the other guy would be wrong if he just got up and clocked him.
Uh-huh.
The guy was surprisingly calm and kept his cool and didn't even move, which I was very surprised at that. Wow. So then he keeps on screaming, and then I jump in. I tell him to tone the testosterone down, shut up and sit the fuck down. He's just going on and on and on, screaming about he don't talk to him like that, and don't personally attack me. And it's like, I was trying to explain. He said you're acting like a fucking idiot. He didn't say like you as a person or is a stupid person. So then he goes back over to the kid. He gets all riled up again, and he knocks the glasses off his face. This is a guy who's like 6'4" and could probably stomp him pretty easily too. So,
are you allowed to say who any of these people are?
No, I am not. One of them is a friend of mine, and the other one has been on the show multiple times. May not see him on the show anytime in the future, anytime soon. So, at this point, it's starting to get out of hand, and so I'm telling him to, knock it off, learn how to handle his liquor, shut the fuck up, and he starts yelling at me. So I tell him to say it to my face, and he comes running over toward me. His girlfriend grabs him by the arm and drags him out of the apartment. So we avoided fisticuffs.
What the fuck does that mean? I've heard that a few times now. What is that? You avoided some fist fight play?
Yeah, that's an old fashioned term for
sure.
Old fashioned fist fight. Because I don't think I would have been as calm if he came over and smacked me in the face. Because by the time the yelling was escalated for literally about 10 minutes, it was the entire final drive. I was pretty fuming at that point. And when I saw him running over, I'm like, just clock me. Let's see what happens. Didn't get to that. His girlfriend saved him. But it was out of nowhere. And he was so mad. It almost looked like he was just blind with rage and didn't even realize he was going to attack somebody he's known for 10 years. So I don't even know what to do at this point. I don't want to, I don't know, be in a social situation where I may have to end up in a fight by the end of the night. This kid's a liability when he drinks hard liquor. You heard the Drunk Tommy episode. The same
Tommy.
The same thing happened with Drunk Tommy. He starts swinging after he drinks, and what do you do with that?
And both of these people had hard alcohol.
Yeah.
See, I'm just a beer and wine guy, and I never get violent. I get violent when I don't drink, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're both okay on beer, but the hard liquor just makes them insane.
I had a college dormy roommate who was like that. Actually, he lived in the room next to us, but yeah, Denny. Anytime he would drink hard alcohol, boy, he reached the demon.
Yeah, some people just have an inner demon, and it's if you can't handle it, don't do it.
Yeah. I remember one night, I don't know if we have the time for it's kind of a funny story. He actually heckled Lewis Black, and I almost got him to drop out of college unintentionally, but maybe we could tell that another day. But
yeah, if it's a long one,
no, it's not terribly long. Basically, he drank too much one night. We went to see Lewis Black. He was heckling him, and Lewis actually singled him out and addressed him, and Denny didn't know what the hell was going on. And we got back to the dorm. He was acting like a real jackass. The next day, he woke up all sick, not remembering anything. And I said, Denny, you propositioned me 3 times last night. You kept asking me to have sex, and I told you I didn't want to, and you were very forceful with me, Denny. And he's like, what? Really? Oh, fuck. And he actually didn't get out of bed for 3 days.
Nice.
And I didn't even realize what was going on. And a bunch of people from the dorm just told me, dude, fess up to Denny that you were just fucking with him. I mean, he was getting ready to drop out of school.
Oh, man.
So yeah, I eventually fessed up, but that's that story.
Nice. Yeah, so I don't know how to address this situation.
Yeah, it sounds like you were in quite a pickle of a dickle.
Yeah, I feel like I'm owed an apology.
I think you are, dude. And if people are gonna get all testosterone filled with irrational rage, don't hang around. And people like that are trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I just feel like I'm in my early to mid 30s. I just don't need to be bothered with this kind of crap.
No. The more time you spend around people who are trouble or who attract trouble, the more they'll get you into various trouble, or you'll have to bail them out of jail, or if there's any kind of illegal activity involved and they get somehow cornered by the police, they'll start spilling your name. Whatever. You stay away from people that give you that bad vibe. It's just, you'll save yourself so much heartache and bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, that's my Super Bowl story.
Well, do you think there's any resolve to this? Did the guys Did the guys? They didn't shake hands at the end, I imagine.
No, his final words were, "If I ever see him again, I'll punch him in the face." Yeah. So
that's what I say to that, man.
Yeah. So I mean,
macho bullshit.
Yeah, if that's the attitude, it's like, well, you can't come over to social events now because I'm not going to not invite that guy because you're being irrational.
Yeah.
And his girlfriend's like, well, he never apologizes for his actions, and I'm like, that's not like noble. That's being a dick.
No, it's not. A real man can actually fess up and say, look, I screwed up. I'm sorry. So it actually feels good to say that if you mean it.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you resolve things instead of just, well, you should just know that I'm like that. Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, now I do know you're like that,
Do you, it would seem, it's funny because I grew up in the Midwest, which is probably like the mid-level between, what I experience now and what you probably experience on a regular basis. I mean, because there are a lot of imports out here, so you got a lot of different kinds of people, but folks who grew up in Oregon are very gentle, a lot of times kind of boring. That's not always true by any means, but, just very mild. And you got a lot of imports, though, who are very eccentric. And I make friends with a lot of people who end up being from New Jersey or Kansas or Nebraska, Illinois, Indiana. It just seems that the weirdos from those states kind of migrate out here. But I don't know. Like I was asking you guys earlier, I mean, what's it like dealing with people on a regular basis out there in New York City? I just imagine it'd be a lot different than what I'm used to now.
Yeah, no, it's very aggravating and it's very stressful. And I don't know. You got to learn to not like brush off most things. Like that lady who called me out for cutting her off on the sidewalk, or, the bum who's yelling at everybody before asking for money. Like, you got to like learn to ignore like 95% of the stuff.
Yeah. So like with the lady on the sidewalk, if you were to say something like, fuck you, I mean, would it just be okay? Or would she like want to fight? Or what do you think?
Well, she wouldn't fight, but she probably would have yelled at me like the whole length of the block.
No, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. How dare you talk to me like that to me? I'm allowed to be an obnoxious bitch and, be inappropriate. It's like, I don't know. It's like people will yell back at you most of the time. So, it's like it's very easy to get into a confrontation. But, just tone down the testosterone and brush stuff off most of the time.
Yeah. Especially those guys out there who are listening, if you're in a relationship, I mean, women like the testosterone to a point, but if you're too much of a quote-unquote man to admit when you're wrong, you're missing the whole point. A real man can say, look, I fucked up. Because we do screw up pretty often. I mean...
Oh, yeah. I mean, everyone has their nights, but, just say it.
Say it, exactly. Don't deny it to yourself, because that's when you get a chance to grow. I mean, I screw up every day. I'm Jay. I'm sure you do too.
Of course, right? I do.
You're human.
Yeah, you can't go around just saying, well, that's me, and you got to learn how to deal with it. It's like,
yeah.
Well, no, we're not your babysitter. You have to learn how to deal with society. I'm not going to babysit you. His girlfriend was like, tone down the trash talking. And I'm like, I'm equally distributing the trash talking. It's, if he's getting all butthurt over this, it's really, he has to learn how to deal with that, because he was trash talking more than anybody else. So it's like he wants to dish it out, but he can't take it. It's,
Was he super drunk?
He was pretty drunk. I mean, he drinks a lot, but yeah, he was pretty drunk.
Does he drink every day?
Pretty much. He says he doesn't. I mean, he drinks a lot.
Do you drink every day, Jay?
No, I usually drink like twice a week.
Because I guess maybe it's just from listening to old episodes, but I figured you just like drank all the time, because it seems you drank shitloads of liquor during at least older shows.
Well, yeah, but like one of the 2 times I drank was usually podcast night. So It was like podcast night and going out night were the 2 nights I drank.
Yeah.
But anyway, we are pretty long, so we're going to have to wrap this up. The Brink of Sanity at gmail.com, brinkofsanityshow.com, subscribe on iTunes, leave a voicemail, 631-676-1181. We got a bunch of voicemails. I haven't gotten to them because we keep running long, but that's just because we're having a great time with Dan Crall.
Hey, I would be happy to, show up whenever you guys want me. I don't want to, overstay my welcome, but anytime you guys want a strange perspective from Oregon, happy to bring it.
Sounds good, man. I'll definitely have you back. So thanks for listening, everybody, and we will be back soon.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye.